Hello, hello. Hello, Maria. How are you doing?
Hi, you all right?
Yeah, doing right, doing right. Thank you very much for being here. Maria, has made us the favor to share some minutes with us. For me, it's an honor because I follow her on social media, on LinkedIn mainly, and as you know, where she's super active and where she's always sharing good advice for us translators. And of course, probably you all know Maria already. You know that here we talk about SEO localization. That's why this is called SEO Localization Talks. And I couldn't find a better person than Maria to talk about this topic. Um, for those of you who doesn't know Maria, who dare not to know Maria, um, Maria, she's a translator. She's a founder of Crisol Translations. She's also an author of the ultra famous book, the Bible for SEO localization. So, um, Maria, welcome. Thank you very much for being here, sharing a few minutes with us. Um, I wanted to first thing to ask you, how do you, because if you take a look to your LinkedIn profile, it's amazing. Your career is amazing. How do you define yourself? How do you introduce yourself? And what is your relation with the SEO world? And how did you arrive to this SEO world?
Okay. Well, thanks for having me, first of all, for the invite. It's an honor to be here and for the lovely words. I'm a linguist, first of all. I'm an English to Spanish translator. I trained as a professional linguist and graduated about 6 years ago, but I've been in the translation industry and doing translation work for a lot longer than that, since I was a student. And over the years, I started to specialize in marketing, and within marketing in the techie stuff. And SEO is part of that. So I graduated high school with, I went to a technical high school in Argentina where I grew up and I studied, and we graduated with an intermediate level programming degree. So I had a knowledge of computers and software and programming since a very young age. I kind of I had some distance from it for a few years because I wasn't sure I liked it, and then I came back to it when I started experimenting with mixing languages and the techie stuff, and I loved it. Of course, when I went back to it, so much had changed in just a few years. That was what happens with computers and anything that's technological. Yeah, I started with marketing first, and then I came to SEO because I was building our own website at Crisol. We had zero budget when we started, so it was like everything was DIY. So I just said, right, instead of paying someone to do it because we didn't have the budget, I will just take a course on how to build a WordPress site. So I started building it, and then we hired a designer to help cover the areas where we had no idea about. And then when the website was ready, we were like, great, it's ready. That's all done. No, it needs to rank. It needs to be high on Google searches. And I started investigating about, right, how do I do this? And by working on our own website for so long, I realized that I loved optimizing it. And it was really fun, challenging, entertaining, forever changing. So you had to keep updated. And I started training in SEO professionally to be able to offer that service to my own clients on top of other marketing work or marketing translation services I was already offering. So that's how I came to it.
No, that's a fantastic and interesting story. But mine is very similar. So when I created TranslaStars, I started knowing more about SEO and how to optimize our content for it to rank higher on searches, and then of course in the company I work as a localization manager. SEO is like everything. So we are always trying to optimize our content and trying to revamp our content to optimize to rank better. So yeah, that's indeed a very huge thing. And you were mentioning about marketing translators. But why do you think is so important? Why, if you had to explain a marketing translator, why is SEO important for them? I mean, why? Why do they have to learn?
Well, how can I put it? What's the use of a great marketing translation if no one can find it in the first place? So SEO is really tightly linked to marketing in general. If you're going to put content online, because people need to find it first to be able to see value in it, to interact with it, and to start going down the funnel until they convert to clients. So if you can offer your clients the full package, so not just translating the text, but also helping them put it in front of users who have a particular need that they can solve, and you can say, right, you give me this text, and I won't just translate it so that it converts. I will help your users, your client base, your leads find it in the first place. I think that's a full package and it adds a lot of value. So I constantly encourage marketing translators or translators who are starting to specialize in marketing to devote time to training in SEO, because whenever you work on a blog post, on a landing page, on a social media post, on anything, even your LinkedIn profile ranks on Google. So everything is rankable nowadays, and you need to know how to work with words, where to strategically, so that you please the engine at the same time that you're delighting the users. And it's such a lovely art, and it's a craft, and learning to do that is amazing. And it also helps you as a linguist show that you know your stuff, because there's nothing more measurable than SEO results. So if you can show your client, look, your page is or your content's ranking really high in English, but also look what I'm doing in all these other markets. The statistics are there, the analytics are there, and they are backing your expertise. What else do you want? With language always being so subjective and so open to debate and to preferences and stuff, SEO translation is one of the few areas where you can say, look, the statistics say I've done it right.
Yeah. Would you say that for someone who wants to work in the marketing translation industry, would you survive if you don't have SEO knowledge? Or, I mean, is it something that is that useful? Or
Yeah, you would, obviously you would, but you would have to partner up with people who do know it.
Yeah.
You would have to, you wouldn't, I don't think you would be able to offer much value as a marketing translator if you don't have enough knowledge of SEO, because you would have to be finding other people who complement your skills. And that might mean a higher investment for your client, or your client might prefer to just hire someone who does the whole thing and saves them the headache of having to put a team together. So you can survive. You can survive as a generalist. You can survive without specializing at all. From my experience, I can see that you're able to charge a lot higher the more you know, and a lot. Clients are happy to open the wallet and pay you whatever you want, as long as you solve them a problem and you give them a return on that investment. And that's why I've done it.
I'm super happy that you mentioned it, because that's a very important part. I mean, for translators, for us translators, it's super important that you offer such a service that you can build, that you can get much more money than just for, let's say, a simple translation. So yeah, it's something that it's going to be much better for you. But you were mentioning that you have learned by doing. When same as in my case, I will say I learned by doing. Then of course there are many courses out there, mainly about SEO, but not that many about SEO localization. I think that's why you came up with your book and the SEO Translation Bible, which is great. It's fantastic. So that's one of the main resources I believe many translators are using nowadays. But if you want to specialize, how can you do it? I mean, and we have talked about money, but is it worth specializing? Are there too many people working on SEO localization? How is the market? What can you say, or how do you see it?
I don't think too many people have specialized on SEO localization yet as compared to other fields. That's likely to change though, because it's becoming more and more popular. So I mean, if you want to do it soon. Now I always talk about, jokes aside, I always talk about the fact I don't believe in competition.
Mm.
I believe in co-opetition. So if you choose a niche and if you become really, really knowledgeable and expert in one field, that coupled with your specific language pair and your specific variety of the target language place you in a position where there will be very few people doing what you do. And those very few people are likely to become your main allies, because whenever you can't, whenever your client comes to you and says, I need the same thing in this other language pair, you start to team up with those people specialized in your niche, and you send clients each other's way, and you recommend them, and they cover your back and you cover theirs, and a lovely community starts to form as well around the specialization. It's that, and also the fact that the return that companies get from investing in SEO and SEO localization is so bloody high that you can charge whatever you want to charge, and you know that they will make it back very quickly and that you will be happy as well. But it depends on each person's goals, because some people are just happy sitting down 6-7 hours a day every day working on very general text that they get from an agency. They create the file on their account tool of preference, they send it back and they forget about it. Whereas when you start to specialize, a whole other aspect opens up where you have to market yourself as the expert, make sure that everyone knows what you're doing. So you start, it comes with added work. So it comes with lots of benefits, but added work as well. It depends on what every person considers is best suited to their own needs.
I think you're giving like really good advice to those who are listening, watching us. I think you have said something which I find I can connect to something we are actually working, in which we are working together, and it's this collaboration, teaming up. That's something I always recommend. Networking, I always recommend people go to lock lunches, go to any networking activity, these associations, the nice ones, so that you can or you would like to join or to become a member. But yeah, I mean, this is a niche which I absolutely agree with you. I mean, we are living a time, we are going through a time in which you see a lot of job ads asking for or looking for content writers, copywriters, SEO experts, SEO localization experts. So hey, people, this is the time of our lives. So there, this is a feeling which, if you specialize, you are going to be like a rock star, like our dear Maria is. So Maria, I don't want to take more of your time. I wanted to say that we are working together in something that is coming out soon, which is a super duper course on SEO localization, SEO, SEA localization and copywriting. I don't know if you want to say something else about it, but yeah,
I'm
soon.
so excited about it. It's going to be so amazing. And at the moment, there's not a lot of training available to specialize in
Yeah.
this area. Of course, there's my book, but there's only so much that it can cover. And there's a really good course by Teresa Sousa. She's a Portuguese translator I've taken her course and I loved it. You have really good courses on translators as well. And this is me just recommending the work of people that I could consider competitors. We are not. We complement each other. And I suggest that someone looking to specialize in this takes as many courses from as many different people as possible, because you will always learn something that the other one hasn't covered. And I'm really excited about what we are cooking for the end of the year. It's going to be really good. There will be a third person who I personally admire so much, sharing his insights as well. I'm not sure how much you want to disclose about this, but I am so happy.
Yeah, let's keep the suspense. Yeah, I think it's enough there. I hope we can be launching at least the landing page today or tomorrow. And yeah, it's going to be, I think, the first course that covers a wide range of topics. As you were saying, of course, you cannot cover everything. And this field is one which is constantly evolving, because it's mainly Google that is changing sometimes the rules, and you have to adapt to the rules too. So yeah, that's fascinating. That's a fascinating field of
Can I mention something quickly? Something that happened today. A discussion was taking place with with one of our clients about how Google treats accents and hyphens in keywords. For example, if I'm looking for trousers for my son and I type in pantalón para niño, trouser for a boy, and I type it without the accent, will Google show me the results of pages that have it with the accent, or should those people delete the accent altogether? And that's changed. Like 10 years ago, the answer would have been one. Nowadays, it's a completely different one because Google has evolved. So you need to keep up to be able to make informed decisions with your own translations.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, now that you are mentioning it, we were asking Google last week something very similar for our German content on Pathwire, because we had a adapt with the hyphen on our Slack, on our URL. And yeah, we were not quite sure if that was going to impact negatively or not our optimization for SEO. So yeah, that's something you need to know. You need to be constantly looking for new information, so how things work. And yeah, it's a fascinating field, as you were saying. It's a field that where you can actually see results, that where you can measure results easily. So because you can see the return on investment, you can see the traffic on your website, you can measure it, you can see the leads, the conversions, things like that. So of course, you maybe for many of those people watching us, these words like leads, conversions are a little bit like obscure. But if you follow us, if you take, there are many free courses, Google Academy or these HubSpot academies, they offer a lot of free courses on SEO. So I strongly recommend you to take them and to upskill you. So yeah, and then as Maria was saying, please read her book. Now she's all the benefits from her book go to help people in Ukraine. So that's even better. So yeah, remember the SEO Translation Bible. There's nothing better in the market. So if you want to know more about SEO, read it, use it, apply what you see there in your
and reach out to me if you have any questions, if there's something that's not clear. One of our readers got in touch recently about an area of the book that wasn't too I hadn't expanded on too much, and I wrote a blog post to complement the book. So just reach out and say, look, I would like more information about this. I will happily expand on it, and I update the book every year and a half or 2 years to make it more complete, and you get the updated copy for free if you purchase it. So.
And that's the best thing for people watching us. Maria is reachable. So this is something I always say in my webinars or bootcamps. Do not follow me. Connect with me.
Exactly.
I don't want followers. I want connections. I want people talking to me.
And community.
I think we find that we are very similar in that sense. I mean, you are very reachable, you approachable, and yeah, you answer people when they write you. So yeah, take advantage of that. Yeah, I mean, not always is rock stars that are accessible. So Maria, thank you very much for your time. Have a great evening. We are going to continue with the SEO localization talk if you want to be around. I'm going to talk a little bit about metadata and about function and content words for those who do not know about it. I'm going to share a small presentation. So yeah, thank you very much again.
See you later.
Take care. Ciao, ciao. And for those of you who are still there, oh, Maria is amazing. And you have to follow her on social media, on LinkedIn or wherever you want to follow her. Let me share with you this presentation where I will talk about, let me share my screen. I will be talking about, just a second here. I will be talking about, well, this is first, we offer mentoring on SEO marketing localization. So if you're interested, you just have to go to our TranslaStars page. This is about myself. I am the localization manager at Pathwire. I have more than 25 years experience in the industry. I have worked as a technical translator, many things. And warming up, if you are there, please say hi, don't be strangers, tell us where you're connecting from, your nationality, chat. And if you have questions, make questions on the chat, please. And then what we are going to, I want to show you today, it's the difference between function and content words, which is very related to linguistics. And you may say, okay, what's the relationship between that and SEO? Well, you'll see. And metadata. So just as a refresher, this is from part one the other day. We were talking about SEO, SEA, and SEM. SEO is search engine optimization. So it's how you can optimize your content, as Maria was saying, mainly in your blog posts, in your web pages. And those are things that you can do by knowing your searchers' intent, by using the right keywords, long tail keywords, many different strategies like technical things like the structure of your content, things like that. Then it says you have SEA, which is search engine advertising, which is these ads that you see on Google that usually appear in the first place when you perform a search. And this is all part of SEM, which is search engine marketing. Let's go now to function words versus content words versus function words. Content words are those words that possess conceptual meaning, versus function words, which are those that convey grammatical relations. If that doesn't clarify, let me show you an example. Take a look to this example from translatestars.com landing page, this title, this sentence that says, discover new directions, learn from expert tutors with industry experience, and grow your career with our courses. So what do you think are content words? And what do you think are function words? If I gave you like 30 seconds to think about it, what do you think is the answer? What are content words here? Remember, we have just seen before, content words are those who possess conceptual meaning versus function words, which are those that convey grammatical relations. So in this sentence, which are the words that are conveying conceptual meanings versus grammatical relations? I'll give you 10 seconds. Think about it. It's very easy. So let me show you the answer. Content words, for example, here are grow, experience, career, discover, courses, new, industry. Those are also sometimes called, well, not sometimes, depending on how important they are for your content, they are also called keywords, but we will talk about them another day. And function words, those making the sentence, let's say, giving cohesion to the sentence, but not giving any special meaning, are prepositions like conjunctions and some pronouns like from, our, and with you. Okay, I hope that's clear. That's super important for SEO. How is that related for SEO? Wait for it. We're going to see it in a moment. So let me talk super quickly first about keywords. Keywords are those words or phrases that we usually type in search engines to find information. It can be one or more words, so it doesn't just have to be one word. And those are good for site ranking in SERP, which is search engine results pages. Because when you use the right keywords together with other strategies, you appear on top. You are ranking high, and that sends visitors to your pages. That's why it's important. Keywords are not the only important thing in SEO. So that maybe was in the 80s or early 90s, but not nowadays. Keywords usage, for example, if you take the word auto repair, or for example, for a garage where you can take your car to be repaired, that will be one of the keywords, and you need to make it appear in the title element, in the URL, what we call the slug, that part there, the body text, or the image alt for the to somehow classify the image you are describing. It's also very important in URLs. Okay, so for example, you have there this title of a guide of a blog post that we had in the company I used to work for. The title of the guide is the title of the article is the ultimate guide to painting 3D printed parts. For example, and here we can see a direct use of content words versus function words. In slugs, in that part in red on top, the slug, in the URL, in the slug we are going to include the title of that blog post in that case, or of a web page, but we are not going to use function words, okay? Unless, of course, we need to disambiguate some meanings. And we are not going to use words that do not convey any special meaning or anything in particular. So take a look. The title of the guide is the Ultimate Guide to Painting 3D Printed Parts. However, the slide is Painting 3D Printed Parts, as you see with dashes. So that means those are the keywords, okay? And those are content words as well. As you can see, we have not used to or the, because they are not useful. They are not going to make that slide memorable. You are not going to remember that. Of course, you are not obliged to remember anything, because you can see the history in your search engine, and it's very easy nowadays. But this is what you have to do, okay? So that's one of the uses of this kind of information. And now it's your time. If you have questions for me, or just let me go back here. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will be happy to answer them. If there are no questions, we can close it today, and yeah, and that will be it. So yep, let me know any questions about SEO, about slags, keywords, or function and content words, or about Maria and her book. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, so then it's going to be all for today. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you for being part of this live streaming. Do not miss our next SEO Localization Talks meeting, where we will continue talking about metadata, how to translate that metadata, and the important information. And yeah, that has been all for today. Thank you very much for being there. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.